overwhelming evidence of order and design pointing to a designer, of this innate drive for meaning in life, of love. Love demands there be more to reality than simple matter and energy, simply biochemical reactions. There's got to be some type of spiritual being who creates us with this innate ability to love. So when you begin to think and observe reality, when you observe your experience of life, indeed, you begin to understand God is real. Jesus Christ is the truth. When you study the evidence for the historical resurrection, Christ really died. He just didn't lapse into unconsciousness. A Roman soldier took a spear, jammed it into his side, and we read in the Gospel of John that an issue of watery serum separate from red, hard, clotted blood flowed from his side. They didn't understand that medically in the first century. We know very well. George, please don't stick yourself in the side and have clotted blood flow separated from a watery serum flowing out, because it means heart failure. You're dead. So he really died. And they buried him in a very well-known tomb, the tomb of Joseph of Arimathea. And 3 days later, he rose from the dead, and over a period of 40 days, he appeared to...
We see in a passage at Daniel where Nebuchadnezzar saw the pre-incarnate form of God. He said the fourth man is made or is like the Son of God. So not Jesus himself, but it appears like Jesus Christ. So it would be more accurate to say pre-incarnate God, or you can say Jesus Christ before his incarnation, whatever you want to call it. But to say Jesus himself would not be as accurate or more convincing compared to contender number 2. Contender number 3 was interesting because if we were to argue it was Shem, the Bible said, blessed be the Lord God of Shem. That's the blessing he received from Noah. And when we look at Genesis 14, Melchizedek was able to bestow that same blessing. So Shem could be a possible contender. Another interesting thing is that during that time, it was a time of
The fact is, pretty much everything we know about the life of Jesus comes from the 4 Gospels of the New Testament.
And even though the Gospels are credited to the evangelists Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the Gospels may actually have been written 40 to 100 years after the crucifixion.
They also contain little or no accounts of Jesus' life before he became a prophet.
We would love to know answers to, like, what was Jesus like as a teenager? And did Jesus ever have any girlfriends? Did he ever have any relationships? Anything like that? The Gospels don't really want to tell us any of that stuff because they're really interested in just focusing on why Jesus is who he is and what he did.
What really happened during Jesus' so-called lost years? Were the accounts omitted deliberately?
But in either case, you can tell. And our final category is blasphemy. Some of these stories are really, really weird. Now, in some cases, they teeter the line with fan fiction, where it just seems to be someone who really liked the people they were talking about, including one particularly funny case that we'll talk about today. But other writings are straight up lies and intentionally tried to mislead people of the time. And while the ones we're going to be looking at today are pretty ridiculous, if the concepts in them were to be believed, it would be not good. Now, as mentioned earlier, there's about a dozen books that are part of the Catholic or Orthodox Bible that are not a part of the Protestant Bible. These are often called the deuterocanonical books, or the Protestants may call them the apocryphal books. But we're not going to be looking at any of those today. 99.9% of all of Christianity does not
be telling you about other Jewish families in America that have managed to exert so much influence over the lives of you and I over several generations. Goldman Sachs family. In 19th century Bavaria, amidst the lush landscapes and quaint villages, a story of ambition, friendship, and financial prowess took shape. It all began with a man named Marcus Goldman, whose journey ultimately led to the birth of a financial dynasty that shaped the very fabric of America's economy. Young Marcus Goldman was born into an Ashkenazi Jewish family on December 9, 1821, in Trappstadt. His father, Wolf Goldman, was a humble farmer and cattle dealer. The Goldmans were hard-working, but they dreamed of something more. As the winds of change swept through Europe during the revolutions of 1848, Marcus Goldman made a daring decision. He decided to cross the vast Atlantic and embark on the treacherous journey to America, the land of opportunity. Upon his arrival in America, Marcus Goldman's name was transformed into its Americanized version. He started as a peddler, navigating the bustling